Our guest in the breakout room is an Amazon best selling author. Her motto is why not? She is Leslie Davis. She says, I help people struggling with emotional eating change their thoughts and beliefs and learn to love themselves. Why? I believe in you. This is her Amazon best selling book. You Can't Eat Love. She is the epitome of self transformation. So let's welcome live in the breakout room this inspirational overcomer, Leslie Davis. So we are live in the breakout room and we welcome Leslie Davis to the breakout room on this specific episode, and we're looking forward to having this conversation with her, particularly in light of the fact that what she has written is not somebody else's experience but her very own. And so there's going to be emotion and there's going to be passion coming from her with regards to the experience that led her to the publication. So, Leslie, as a matter of introduction, could you tell us about Leslie several years ago? I mean, could you remember any time in your childhood that was really special for you and helped create the foundation upon which your life is based today?
Um, well, the Leslie that I was several years ago is nowhere close to the Leslie that I am now.
Okay.
Um, and the reason is one of the things that I discovered is I was doing what I call sacrificing myself on the altar of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I needed to put everyone and everything else first.
Yeah.
Um, and it took, hitting one of those hard moments in my life to realize that if I wasn't putting me first, I wasn't able to take care of everybody else.
Right.
It was very important that I put me first. Um, and I talk about this in the book that on the airplane, they tell you put your own oxygen mask on first
Yes.
and then take care of everybody else.
Right.
So I came to understand that if I'm chasing other people with my oxygen mask, I'm not helping them because I'm not helping me. And if I'm not helping me, I'm going to be laid out in the aisle, the plane's going to land, and they're going to be okay.
Right.
But where am I going to be?
Exactly.
Um, so it took a lot of unlearning old beliefs, but it also took a lot of, just flat out learning to love myself, because I believed that nobody loved me. And what I came to discover was the only person who didn't love me was me.
Was yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Wow.
and I was filling what I call a myself-sized hole in my heart with food.
Mm-hmm.
Now other people have other drugs of choice. You can
Yeah.
have gambling or whatever. Pick your gambling of your drug of choice.
Yeah.
But I was using food to numb the pain that I didn't want to feel. I
Mm-hmm.
used food instead of experiencing emotions
Okay. Okay.
because it was
And
easier
mhm.
to not feel.
All right. And so you had this challenge before you, and how come you decided to use food? How was that decision made? What pointed you in that direction that you chose food?
Well, I I want to say that if I look back, which I did a lot of looking back,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say I was just re-listening to one of your podcasts where you were talking about regrets, and we don't really want to focus on the past.
Yeah.
We want to look at, the present as a gift,
Mm-hmm.
or the present as the present, and tomorrow is a gift.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of looking back, and what I came to discover is I felt as if I was deprived, or
Mm-hmm.
the food that I was going to have, I would never have again. So I
Mm-hmm.
kept operating from a position of scarcity. So it was like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to have this again. So I
Yeah.
built this crazy relationship with certain foods. Well,
Yes.
when we build crazy relationships with certain anything, then we can be triggered into
Mm.
believing we're never going to have it again.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any difference what it is.
Okay.
And, that's one of the reasons why people binge Netflix.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the same trigger mechanism. And so looking back, I recognized that growing up, while we could afford food because of where we lived, we didn't
Mm-hmm.
always have an abundance of food available. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, we were not deprived of food,
All right.
but
I
we
hear
didn't
you.
have a lot of cookies. We didn't have a lot of stuff just simply because of our location.
Okay.
And so when I had access to it and my own money to purchase it, well, then the next level of that relationship came into play.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're eating an entire bag of potato chips, well, that brings in a level of shame,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that sets off something else. And so looking back, I started realizing, okay, this started way, way, way back. So
Mm.
now what I do when I feel that trigger trip, I will ask myself, what is really going on?
Yeah.
What am I really trying to run from?
Yeah.
What is it that I'm really experiencing in this moment?
Right.
And I came to recognize that just like in a car, you don't drive your car looking through your rearview mirror. That rearview mirror is very small. We check
Mm-hmm.
our rearview mirror for information
Yeah.
and to help us make decisions based on what's coming next. Our
Right.
windshield is really big.
Yeah.
So while I did dig into the past, I didn't spend time there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I will return there and look for information. Okay, when did I first experience this?
Mm-hmm.
What was going on? Why was it going on? And what was my reaction to it? And
Okay.
okay, now I understand why I'm feeling and reacting the way that I'm feeling and reacting right now.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were talking about in that podcast, which I just love, let's not live with regrets. The past is the past.
Yeah. Yes.
Last time I checked, we can't go back and erase it
No.
and rewrite it.
No. Impossible. Impossible. So.
So if we accept it, then we
Uh-huh.
accept it.
Yeah. So Leslie, you took the opportunity to go back and realize when this thing really happened. Another important moment for you would have been when you realize that if you continue doing what you're doing with the food, it's going to jeopardize your health. When did that happen?
100%.
When did that happen? What was that affinity moment that you realized, hey, I got to do something about this because it's going to be all over?
Well, I had hit a point in my life, and I hate to say that I hit rock bottom because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's tempting God or the fates, to
Yeah.
say, let me show
Yeah.
you rock bottom. So, anyway, I hit a point in my life where I realized I could either, as you said, continue going in the direction that I was going, or I could
Mm-hmm.
change and go a different way.
Right.
And I said, I want to be the best version of myself.
Mm.
I want to
Yes.
get healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I
Right.
literally drove a stake in the ground, and it's in my garden right now,
Okay.
and said, from this point forward, I'm doing things differently. And I will, as I said, I decided to get healthy mentally,
Mm-hmm.
physically, and emotionally.
Wow.
And I tell people now, that was back in 2016. And I tell people now, if I would have known how hard it was going to be, I don't know that I
Mm-hmm.
ever would have started. But
Wow.
I'm extremely grateful that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm on a mission to help other people get healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally, and not go through all the trials and the figuring things out that I went through that took me a while to do. But
Yeah.
at the same time, to cheerlead the people and say, you know what, I believe in you. I believe in you.
Great. And I must commend you for that, Leslie, because you went through that experience and you learned so much about yourself and about the decisions that you needed to make to get to a better place, to be the best version of you. But you also put the book together. What was the catalyst behind you making the decision to write the book?
Uh, well, truthfully, I had written another book, which
Uh
is
huh.
the backstory of how God showed me that He did love me and that I am an amazing person.
Uh huh.
And I was trying to get it published. And then one day I was having a walk, and God said, you know, that book that you're trying to get published, I needed you to write that book so you could see the journey that I took you on and
Wow.
that I was always right there. He said,
Yes.
now I need you to write this book for the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to be very clear that I'm not showing up on every single page, even though I am in every single word.
Right.
Because God was telling me that there are people who, you know, either don't believe or don't have the same belief that He wanted to reach.
Right.
And He knew that if I included Him in every page, that it would be turning people off. And that was not the message that He wanted. He wanted
Wow.
the message to be for other people to learn to love themselves
Mm-hmm.
as I had learned to love myself with His help and with His guidance. And in
Okay.
fact, if you read the dedication, it is dedicated to God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
Uh huh. Yes. Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. You went on this holistic search to bring out the best possible part of you or to live your best possible life. And you found that level of spirituality as well. How important was that in bringing this whole thing together and creating the opportunity for you to overcome, to get the strength to believe in yourself? And the reason why I ask that is because you said that your message is you are enough. And that's a powerful message. So in other words, you replace the food with the discovery you made and also that spiritual part where you realize, hey, you know what? I've got to share this with the people in the universe because there's somebody else out there who may be struggling like I am or I'm struggling and need to get that information. You are enough. How important is that?
Well, the spiritual piece was extremely important because on the
Mhm.
days when I wanted to quit and when I wanted to give up, even though I
Yeah.
was very strong and firm in why I wanted to do it,
Uh huh.
um, when I was looking for support and acknowledgement and affirmation,
Mm-hmm.
where I got it from was from God.
Right. Right.
He would
Right.
show up and He would show me, you're on the right path, you're doing
Yes.
this, let's keep going. And
Right.
I tell people, one of the things that I talk about in the book is discovering your very best friend in the whole wide world. Well,
Mm.
people who are attuned to God, they will say, well, that's God. Well, yes, but you know, people who are not attuned to God, they're not going to be willing to hear that message.
Okay.
So I talk about, you know, having a conversation with your very best friend in the whole wide world,
Mm-hmm.
because I came to recognize that God is available at 2 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't care if I'm talking about the same thing for the 10 millionth time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I came to acknowledge was I was desperate to be heard,
Okay.
desperate to be heard.
Okay.
And who is always listening to you? Who is
Yes.
always listening to you? But
Yes.
the other thing that I came to realize is we do not need to assume a position of prayer. We don't need to be on our knees with our hands folded or anything like that in order to have a conversation with God. Heavens
Mm.
to Betsy. Nowadays I can be driving down the road, I can be, you know, washing dishes, doing whatever,
Yeah.
and we have a conversation.
Amazing.
And I do mean a conversation. I am
Yeah.
talking, he is talking, he is listening, I am
Yeah.
listening, and it's a conversation.
Right.
And that really helped me because I realized that the one person that desperately wanted to hear me
Mm-hmm.
was always available.
Right.
And
And,
so that spiritual piece for me was
uh-huh.
extremely important because it was hiding in the words of the Bible.
Right.
That in fact,
Yes.
like one Psalms 147, I think it is, says, Jesus heals my broken heart and
Hmm.
binds all my wounds. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, wow.
Yeah.
So the words that I
Amazing.
needed to hear were hiding in
Hmm.
the words of the Bible.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Leslie. What a wonderful and amazing story. Truly inspiring. When you were going through this period of struggle, how much did it affect your family life? I mean, that balance. How did you how did you handle it? How challenging was it for you?
Well, nobody in my family knew what I was doing,
Wow.
because I didn't want any of I didn't want the diet police or the
Uh-huh.
anybody, judging or, questioning, or I didn't need it. So
Okay.
I didn't have it. But I still remember my husband said one time, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure I like it. Because I tell people now, one of the things when you as an individual decide that you're going to go on a journey to become the
Hmm.
best version of yourself,
Yeah.
the people around you have two choices. They can either change along with you without realizing what they're doing, or
Hmm.
they can stay the same, in which case it might be that they move further out of your orbit.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
But what I came to understand, and I absolutely preach it. You
Hmm.
are only in control of you. You are not in control of anybody else. You cannot make anyone sad, mad, whatever. You
Hmm.
cannot make anyone anything except reservations for dinner.
Okay. Amazing, Leslie. Your motto is why not? And
Yep.
I want to understand where does that come from and who exactly are you saying that to, that message of why not?
Well, I'm saying it to my family primarily because
Okay.
I come up with these crazy ideas and they're like,
Uh-huh.
why? Why do you want to do that? Especially
Uh-huh.
my husband,
Okay.
who's extremely practical.
Right.
Why do you want to do that? And I don't know if you've ever recognized, but when we try and explain why we want to do something,
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes we don't have words for it.
Okay.
Well, one of the reasons is the part of our brain
Mm-hmm.
that envisions why
Yeah.
is the amygdala, the lizard brain.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have
Yeah.
language. It does not
Yes.
have language.
Mm-hmm.
So I've given up trying to explain my whys, and I
Yeah.
just say, why not? Why
Okay.
not?
All
And
right.
and also for me, when
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying why not, I'm saying to myself, you know what? This is possible. Anything is possible. So why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. I love it. Um, have you seen or gotten any feedback from anybody, whether it be on your website or personally, that has said to you, Leslie, thank you so much for putting this stuff out. I needed to hear this. I needed to understand what you're going through. It has helped me so much. Have you gotten any like that coming back to you, Leslie?
I do. I get it. I've gotten it quite a few times, and the first thing that I do is I say, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you,
Ah,
for
yes.
helping me to
Yes.
reach these people."
Yeah.
And oftentimes, one email I got from somebody said that they had read all these other books,
Mm-hmm.
and not one of them had helped them as much
As
as my
much.
words had
There you
helped
go.
them.
There you go. And how does that
Hmm.
make you feel?
Oh my gosh! Well, it validates that what I did was what I needed to do,
Mm-hmm.
because it was terrifying for me to put my story out there because I
Right.
hold nothing back.
Yes. Yes.
I
You
absolutely
just,
hold nothing back.
yeah,
I
yeah.
strip back the veil, and there's everything right there.
You laid it all out on the
So to
line.
hear that, because yeah, I laid it all out on the line, and to hear that tells me, yes, you did the right thing. Keep
Mm.
going, keep going.
Wow. Wow, wonderful. Did you do any tours with the book and do any book signing and that kind of stuff?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, the book published, in January of 2021, which, we were
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the
Oh,
pandemic. So
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I haven't done anything like that.
Okay.
Instead, I have, gone on podcasts and Facebook lives, and I talked to people, and I have sent a couple of people signed copies. Um, but mostly it's word of mouth and things like that that get the book out there.
Okay.
I have started doing some speaking engagements, which I'm hoping to
Ah,
do more of.
yeah. I was just about to ask you about that. So that's very important because I think your message is so powerful and so close to home to what many people are experiencing. So it's important for you to get it out there as much as you possibly can.
Oh, well, thank
During,
you.
you're welcome. During the time that you were experiencing this stuff, I usually ask folks if they have a mentor, somebody that, that still clear voice that you reach out to, that you know is going to keep your feet on the ground and help you make good decisions. Was there that person in your life at that time, and are they still with you today?
No, there really wasn't. The clear voice that I was hearing during that time, as crazy as it sounds, was simply God's, and the words that are in the Bible, and the things that He would show me. I mean, truthfully, that was my mentor.
Okay. Amazing. All right, so we are at the stage here now, Leslie, where you have had the book out and you're looking to speak to the public and stuff. Um, are you thinking about a sequel, a part two, or something like that? Is something like that in the works in the future?
Well, actually, in the works right now is I'm finishing editing the backstory to the
Ah,
book,
okay.
and that book is called "The Journey from Failing to Healing,"
Uh huh.
and I hope to have it published by the end of 2022.
Okay. Great. And that's soon then because we're already in November.
That's right, almost at the end of November.
Yeah. Great. Great. You have shown, Leslie, strength and courage, commitment, determination. Um, have you been able to put this into other aspects of your life, or was it just for that period of time that you were struggling with the eating stuff and you needed to just make those decisions and get to a better place? And as you say, live your best holistic life possible.
Actually, I've implemented and keep all of these things going in all aspects of my life. I constantly remind myself that I'm only in control of me. I'm not in control of anybody else. So,
Yeah.
as long as I'm being true and honest with myself, I don't need to worry about somebody else's reaction because their reaction is their reaction.
Right.
And then also, I've been able to, unlike in the past, what I did was I lost almost 100 pounds, and I've managed to
Hmm.
keep it off because
Yeah.
food doesn't have the same hold on me. But in
Right.
addition to that, I now enjoy physical exercise. I
Okay.
do a lot of walking, and then I do a lot of heavy weightlifting. I
Wow.
deadlift, believe it or not.
Okay. Wow.
And to celebrate my 65th birthday in
Uh-huh.
August, I deadlifted 225 pounds. And then a couple of days later, I deadlifted 230 pounds. So, you know, uh, when I say, living your best life, I'm not 40 years old. I'm
Okay.
65.
Right. Right.
My life is just beginning. So for anybody who is listening who says I'm too old, I'm too whatever, no, you're not.
Yes.
Where you begin is where you begin, and where you are today is where you are today. And you know what? Tomorrow you're going to be someplace different.
That's right. I love it. Beautiful. Leslie, I'm going to share something with you and I want to get your feedback. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play the major part of it. So hold on. Let me get this up for you. Stand by.
Okay.
Happy bookversary to me. I am so excited. I cannot believe a year ago You Can't Eat Love went live. I did not know what to expect. I had no idea what it was going to look like, but I am so excited that it has been out in the world for a year. Now, let me tell you something. If I'm really, really honest with you, when I published You Can't Eat Love, I was absolutely terrified. I spent so much of my time feeling as if I was going to throw up because I did not know how you would receive it. I bared my soul. I told all kinds of truth that I had been hiding from myself and from, especially the rest of the world. But I put it out there, and you have been so gracious in how you have received it, and the words that I'm hearing back telling me that my words are helping to change your life. But and gratitude is just not a big enough word. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply say again, happy bookversary for You Can't Eat Love. I remember the first time I held this in my hand, I couldn't believe it. In fact, I'm getting a little teary-eyed right now, even remembering and thinking about it. I mean, this is a real live book, and many of you have bought it, and thank you so much for those.
Ah, there you go, there you go, there you go. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
I love the passion, I love the emotion, and I know that you felt so free that you were able to just be honest with people, and the response was truly a blessing and amazing. Leslie, hats off to you. I really want to say thank you so much. You're a special soul. You're a gift to so many. And I just want to get a feedback from you. How does that moment really feel? And that accomplishment, because really it's tremendous that you can get to that place and feel that love coming back to you.
Well, I got tears in my eyes right
There you
now
go.
hearing that
There you
again,
go.
because really gratitude is not a big enough word. It really is not.
Right.
Thank you. I mean, there just isn't a big enough word. I think I'm gonna have to spend some time coming up with a word
Mm-hmm.
much bigger than thank you or gratitude or anything
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
because yeah, I laid it out there and I had no clue how
Mm-hmm.
people were going to receive it.
Okay.
And the feedback that I got was huge and so
Wow.
affirming.
Yes.
And even now, I'm just so grateful. And then, to be able to talk to people like you who are encouraging other people to look at life a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Let's really focus on the one person that we can do something about, and that's us.
Yes.
And that's such a powerful message.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing. I've been doing some work
Thank you.
recently with You're Welcome with Lisa Nichols. And one of the things that she reminded us about is that if you want to give love, if you want to share love to the world, you have to first learn to share love with yourself. And that resonated with me because it helped me understand that in order for us to really fulfill a deeper purpose, we need to have that experience ourselves and understand how it feels to just take our lives to the next level and to seek transformation, which you did. And again, I commend you for that.
Oh,
And
thank you.
you're welcome. So, the thing that I want to really get from you is if you had this big megaphone, Leslie, and you were on the place where the whole world could hear you, what would be your biggest message to the universe coming from Leslie Davis?
My biggest message to the universe is the same thing that I say at the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
You are enough,
Enough. Yes.
just exactly as you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And if you are not able to believe it for yourself right now,
Mm-hmm.
I will believe it for you
Yeah.
until you can believe it for
For
yourself.
yourself. Amazing. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So, we are coming down to the end of the show. It has been amazing. And I just want to ask you a couple trivia questions. It's really simple, a little funny maybe, but it's just a reflective sort of questioning about simple things in life. And it's either or, and then you're gonna tell me why. So the first thing is ham and cheese or peanut butter and jelly.
Is the ham and cheese grilled?
I love it. Why? Why? Tell me why.
I like the ham being warmed and I like the melty cheese. Now, the other
Alright.
thing is, it almost be a toss up. Is the
Uh-huh.
peanut butter from Africa or the
Uh-huh.
US?
Oh, I don't know. What is your choice?
I prefer the peanut butter made in Africa because
Hmm.
the people roast it,
Yeah. Yes.
as you know, over the open fire, and that
Yeah.
that roasted yumminess of those
Mm.
peanuts is
Wow.
just so good. And then
Mhm.
jelly. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a toss up. Depends on where the peanut butter is from. It depends
Yeah.
on if the ham and cheese is grilled.
Understood. I got it. And you describe it so aptly. You could almost see the peanut roasting and stuff. Wow, wonderful.
Mm.
There's the next one. Is it Sunday night football or Sunday evening baseball?
Sunday night football.
Wow, so many people just leave baseball behind them. Why?
Well, I have never been a giant fan of baseball because it's a slow sport. But
Oh, okay.
I am a huge football fan. Now, I
Okay.
learned how to enjoy baseball, and I will watch baseball if my boys are watching baseball, but I
Mm-hmm.
will not sit down and watch a baseball game. My older kids will tell you that they learned how to cuss
Mm-hmm.
watching football with me, because the only
Oh,
time I ever cuss is watching football.
wow. Amazing. Thank you for sharing and for having so much compassion about the stuff that you do, Leslie. It's an amazing thing. So,
Oh, thank you.
in the few minutes we have remaining, Leslie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you now to share with people your information, how they can get in contact with you, if they need you to do any speaking, especially with regards to the book, your experience, your journey, the stuff that you have learned. Share your information with them with regards to how they can make contact with you and where they can get the book.
Well, the easiest place to find everything, including how to reach me and where to get the book, is to go to the website youcan'teatlove.com.
Right.
And there you can see my story. You can, if you want to email me or message me, you can do that from that page. You can also see all of my books, and you can buy the books from that page. So
Okay.
the website is youcan'teatlove.com. And any message or email that you send to me, I personally answer. I've had people say, "Oh, you're a real person. They're expecting a virtual assistant." No, it's really me. I answer each and every single message or email.
Wow, that's truly amazing. So, we have come to the end of this wonderful and fascinating episode with Leslie Davis, her book entitled You Can't Eat Love: How Learning to Love Yourself Can Change Your Relationship with Food. And her motto is You Are Enough. We are enough, people. So, in the meantime, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development live in the breakout room with our friend Leslie Davis. We want to say Godspeed. Thank you so much for joining us, and continue to be a good neighbor to whoever you come in contact with. Remember the three watchwords: health, happiness, and prosperity. Until next time, this is Andy and Leslie saying Namaste, Godspeed, Shalom. Bye for now.